Welcome to FOMO Consulting for your daily AMC stock analysis video on Saturday, July 24th. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back, and I actually missed you. And as always, the apes are winning, the diamond hands are winning, most importantly, the retail investors winning. So if you find this video informative and entertaining, please like, share, certainly comment, and most importantly, subscribe. It is a newer channel, and I would appreciate your support. Let's get into the video. Thank you, each and every one of you who reached out over the last week or so. It means the absolute world to me. I really do appreciate your undying support and your kind words and thoughtful responses. So again, thank you very much to each and every one of you. Start with a quote. Persevere, the definition. To persist in anything undertaken. Maintain a purpose in spite of difficulty, obstacles, or discouragement. Continue steadfastly. It is certainly taking a lot of perseverance over the last month and a half to stay in AMC stock, to continue to believe, as well as GME. We've certainly seen our fair share of manipulation over the last 5 to 6 weeks, but I do believe our perseverance will reward us all. So let's look at the broader market. Overall, yesterday and this week, and again, I'm catching up a bit. Monday's sell-off was absolutely rough for a lot of people, but the bounce back for the following 4 days has been extraordinary. The Dow closed up over 35,000 for the first time in its history, up 238 points. S&P, yet another record high, closed 44 points up. NASDAQ up 152, and the Russell finally had a green day, up 10 points, and we need the Russell more than ever over the next couple of weeks. As you can see, tech, blue chips all had fantastic Fridays, and next week should be quite interesting with a lot of these big companies reporting earnings. So earnings and the Federal Reserve are big catalysts for next week. So you've got Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Advanced Micro Devices, Facebook, and Amazon all reporting earnings next week. And the Federal Reserve again meets, which is always tenuous for the broader market. About 165 S&P 500 companies are due to report earnings next week. It's going to just be a huge week. Could be a big catalyst for AMC as well as many other stocks. But most importantly, we need the Russell to kind of get itself in gear and really get going and have a trend reversal. Regarding earnings, AMC estimated, not official, estimated around August 5th over the next couple of weeks. That could be absolutely huge. Estimates currently, at least from 3 analysts, are around a loss of 91 cents per share EPS versus a loss of $5.44 year-over-year comparison. So again, with the recovery in the movie industry, obviously the loosening of some of the restrictions domestically, this could be a huge earnings report. Obviously, it won't encapsulate a lot of the newer releases, such as Black Widow, F9, and what have you. But again, it should show vast improvement and also be a major catalyst. Let's look at crypto this morning. Overall, crypto relatively flat. Some are doing better than others, but overall, a little red, a little green, but overall not too bad. Certainly some stabilization. Doge has somewhat settled in around that 19-20 cent range. Bitcoin right around that $32,000 range. It's up a little bit this morning, which is good, up around 33,000. So overall, not too bad for crypto. It's finally seems like it's kind of settling down, kind of consolidating, and the huge swings in volatility at least have subsided for now. So the German apes had a rough Friday. Red, no different than us, down 6.2%, or 30.69 euros. But the good news is, like us, had a green week, which was much needed. We'll see if it's a trend reversal, but again, did fantastically this week, holding on. Hopefully we can all share in some green weeks ahead. So let's look at AMC's yesterday. Overall, fantastic day, I believe. Obviously, we found a bottom early on in the day around $34.69 and recovered from there, which showed a lot of strength. Obviously, higher would have been better, but closed right around that $37 mark. Obviously, Fridays have not been our traditionally best days. Volumes were lower, and that's always a fight around options. We just kind of go along for the ride. But we did close at $36.99, down a whopping 25 cents or 0.67%, and down a bit after hours, about 8 cents. No sweat. I believe we're set up for a green Monday, and I'll show you why shortly. And as you can see, again, we had a trend after that bottoming out around $34.69 and recovered for the better part of the day. So showed a lot of strength. Good day. Good way to end the week. And as you can see, with the Russell 2000 below, we actually followed that almost identically throughout the day. And again, Russell had a green day finally, which we need very, very much. And as always, we were in the top 10, or at least recently most active, even on a lower volume day, in the top 8, and we're always the most popular. So let's look at IWM, the ETF with most exposed, or the most shares of AMC. Overall, very similar to AMC, bottomed out earlier in the morning around $216 and recovered about $3 up to $219.55 at closing, up $1.02, which is relatively big for an ETF. So a fantastic day, and as you can see how it related, which it follows directly to the Russell 2000, identical. So let's look at IWM ETF, obviously directly linked to the Russell 2000, and a big part of how AMC moves, as I've shown you before. As you can see over the last month or so, it's just trended downwards on the 1-hour chart, no different than AMC. We've been getting pulled down either by shorting, selling pressure in the IWM Russell. The Russell has gone down as well, but overall we found a bottom earlier this week, it would appear, and then we bounced with the IWM, and AMC was no exception to that, and then closed out the week, kind of with some selling pressure, but then it closed out the week kind of strong. So overall, very, very similar to AMC's performance. As you can see, the RSI is in the neutral, and the MACD is poised for a bullish crossover. It looks like early next week. So my hope is that IWM and the Russell will have a bullish week, propping up AMC and also being a catalyst. So again, IWM real quick, and this directly kind of correlates to AMC stock. So if you look kind of in early June, it ran up and it hit around that $233, $234 range. It got rejected multiple times. That would be equivalent to our, $60, $62 level. And then it fell off from there very, very heavily, as you can see. Found a bottom, bounced, and recovered throughout the remainder of the week. As you can see, the MACD and the RSI both are kind of reset and ready for a bullish run. Not sure when that will occur, but we are certainly poised for one based on these indicators. So let's look at AMC, how it performed this week. This is the weekly chart for the 5-minute. As you can see, early Monday, we hit a low of $31.15, and then around early on Wednesday, $46.50. But it was a fantastic week. And then obviously it started getting walked down, shorted back down for the options, no doubt. But we bounced yesterday morning and found a low and then recovered throughout the remainder of the day, as I showed you. RSI looks very strong to me. We're in the neutral area, but as you can see, it's been climbing, the last couple of days, and then the MACD as well is looking very bullish to me. But overall, it was a great week. First green week in about 5 weeks. So what I want to show you here is the over the last month on the 1-hour chart, we've obviously been getting shorted down very heavily, as everyone knows, but going into next week, the RSI is in the neutral channel, slightly below, ready for a bullish run. And as you can see, the MACD is poised for a bullish crossover, and we may very well have a very bullish week. But interestingly enough, if you look over the last month, the signal line and the MACD have gotten pressed down very, very, very heavily, as we all know. But look how much time it's spent below that kind of neutral line on the MACD. It has now gotten on top of that. and we are poised for a bullish crossover, it would appear. Again, I'm very bullish going into next week. Let's look at the 2-hour chart. Again, the MACD and RSI are in a very neutral position. I believe we are ready for a strong week next week, assuming that nothing crazy happens with the broader market. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. Again, it looks very strong. We're slightly below neutral on the RSI, which gives us a lot of room to run, and we did have a bullish crossover earlier this week on the MACD. We shall see how this plays out, but again, I believe we have a lot of room to run to the upside next week, again, assuming nothing crazy happens with the broader market. And as you can see here, early on, back before the big run up in early June, that for a few days, that $31 level was actually resistance. When we broke through and had the big run up to the $70 range, you can see we've come back down to that more recently. We had a couple days where we bounced off of that heavy line of support right around $31, including obviously Monday. But what we need to do now is get back on top of that $40 range and hold. That was a very strong level of support for us on several different occasions around that $38, $40 range. We need to regain that, reclaim that before we have our next run up. I believe next week we may very well have that opportunity. If we can have a bullish Monday and Tuesday and hold that, say, $40 plus level of support and break that resistance, I believe we'll be in fine shape to run to 50 quite easily. So let's look at the daily chart. RSI again, slightly below neutral, a lot of room to run, and the MACD, it looks like a lot of the heavy selling pressure is subsiding, as you can tell by the overall trend. It's starting to curl back around. The heavy selling volume has subsided. We may very well have a bullish crossover, which we so very much need, and I believe we may very well get that next week. I have no reason to believe otherwise, again, unless there's heavy selling pressure on the broader market and the Russell. I believe we can regain some bullish momentum, and the alligator is just chilling. Did have a bit of a bearish run earlier in the week, but it's since kind of closing his mouth again. Hopefully he'll reopen it on the bullish side very shortly. So let's look at GME overall. No different than AMC. Found its low early Monday, its high early Wednesday, and then kind of sold off or got shorted down, Thursday and early part of Friday, and then recovered throughout the day on Friday. AMC's chart is below, and they are absolutely identical. Make your own assumptions. Some news. Again, I'm a little late to the party, but I think this is absolutely huge that they reopened or came to an agreement to reopen the Grove Theater and the Americana in Los Angeles. That is their largest market. That is absolutely huge for additional market share fundamentally for AMC, and I'm sure that had something to do with the buying going on Tuesday. And congratulations to Adam Aaron for his chairmanship. So let's look at the short interest. So overall, we are currently at 38 days. This has not changed all that much on the average age of short positions. And the short interest data overall, nothing too terribly crazy, still very heavily shorted, as you can see. And we are back to around 15%, hovering in that area. Shares on loans still very high, around 94 million. Cost to borrow is holding steady around 1.5%, and utilization is about 88%. Overall, not a lot has changed. Obviously, a percent here, a percent there, kind of thing. The biggest change, quite frankly, is the institutional ownership has gone up since my last recording anyway. I think it was at 432. It is now at 437. Institutions have bought in over the last week, and 396 are now long only, which is a substantial increase in long only positions. Again, very, very bullish. So as we all know, Fridays are all about options expiring, and I found a lot of confidence in this. Yes. Did we close below 37? Yes. But if you look on the put side, on the right side of the screen, you look at all the open interest on the puts going all the way down to $30. You know, the big money thought they were going to press this down below 30. We held very, very strong and recovered, you know, throughout the day on Friday. Held our own. We were not allowing this to go much lower than we actually did. I find that to be very, very strong. That is just my personal. Let's close with a quote. If you fell down yesterday, stand up today, by H.G. Wells. You know, yesterday, yes, slightly red. Overall, we had a very green week. It is our first green week in the last 5 weeks. Take solace in that, take some confidence. I believe we could be in somewhat of a trend reversal. We may consolidate somewhat over the next week or two, but I believe earnings coming up may very well be a big catalyst for us. As I've shown you in the past, we tend to have a few red days leading up to earnings, and then earnings, we typically have several green days after that. So overall, I'll get into that more of that as the week goes on. But most importantly, I am very glad to be back. I am very appreciative of your support and your subscribership, and also the very kind words. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching. If you found the video informative and entertaining, please like, share, certainly comment. Most importantly, subscribe. Again, it's a newer channel. But most importantly, I hope your life is full of green candles. I'll talk to you soon.